Hey, sports fans! Coach Nick here, and welcome to the B-Ball Breakdown live show coming at you, as always, on a Monday afternoon. Great to have you all here. Great to have Combo here on a different platform. Hopefully, my picture is better. That was the whole thing. We're trying to get my image quality a little bit better on the when you're watching this. I hope it's working on Twitter. I hope it's working there. It's supposed to go to Facebook as well today. Why not? Combo, how are you?
We got to be able to see you, Coach Nick. It's really important, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. I don't want you to be any more clear than I am on the video.
Oh, it's like competition. It's like
Yeah.
the Cade versus Brunson thing that people are mad about in the YouTube comments because we're talking about too much, Coach Nick. We're talking about it too much.
That's right. I also don't like that I'm on the right side. I like to be on the left side.
It's weird for me too, to be honest. Yeah.
I don't know. So we might not keep this platform, but we'll see. The other thing I'm worried about is putting on the comments on the screen, and I'm curious how this even works. So if I do this,
I
what's
see
up,
it.
Omar? LeBron should chill and save his win for next year's playoffs. Okay, but how many more he's going to have left of those? So my other worry is that when I get a super chat, how am I going to make sure that I know that it's a super chat? Because remember, if you want your question answered, that is the way to go over on the YouTube side. Help us keep the show going. So I will monitor kind of back and forth to see if I can identify in case it's not telling me on this Riverside thing. But anyway, Combo, we got a lot to talk about. Did you watch the games this weekend?
I did.
Really crazy stuff, right? Like this is, I don't remember like last year. I don't remember like just sitting on my couch for like just hours and hours just watching each game and being captivated like this. It was yesterday was great.
I know you're probably most interested knowing you about the Aaron Gordon dunk and if it counted or not. Like that seems like it's right up your alley.
Oh yeah, and in fact, I wasn't even gonna. I mean, we were all watching that live. It was insane that ending, right? Like crazy. And if you didn't see it, I suppose then Jokic. It was a tie game. He goes to do a step back, one-footed,
Spin.
off-footed, in the face of two defenders, three, with about what 4 seconds to go, and it goes. It was an air ball. Aaron Gordon dunks it. The light goes on for the buzzer. And I think so. Here's the thing, people sort of wanted to explain or think that it counted because the ball was in the basket no matter what, right? He crammed it in there. But what they're missing, Combo, I'm sure you maybe understand this now after all this stuff and the referees and me weighing and everything, was that if your hand is on the ball when the buzzer goes off, the game is over and the shot does not count.
Say that one more time.
So if your hand is touching any part of the ball,
Mhm.
so think about it like if I shoot a jumper to win the game, it's got to be out of my hand before the
100%.
buzzer goes off.
100%.
Well, shooting a jumper, dunking the ball, same thing. If my hand is touching the ball, even if it's in the basket, because again, there is a rule that specifies that if the ball goes in the basket into the net, you count it as a basket.
So if you have so much bounce like combo and I dunk it in all the way, like my armpits in the rim, and I'm just like have the basketball, it still don't count.
That is, that's crazy, but yes, that's what, as I understand, and Chip came on the show to describe it as well as that is the thing. The ball has to be released. Now, the rules all fit together like a puzzle, right? So they sometimes certain rules will supersede others depending on the situation. So obviously, the rule that governs a basket is legitimate, but the rule that governs whether it counts because of the clock supersedes that, right? And you can negate any shot that might even go in if it's late, right? So that's sort of the whole ball game, and people really were triggered by that. I think Twitter has become this cesspool where the triggering is that they can't fathom that they're wrong on something or have wrong information that someone gave them once when they were young. I don't know, and then accept any other new information from somebody else that they don't like maybe personally know. I don't know what that is, but it's really weird. The Dame injury, which is absolutely brutal, it just came out that it wasn't Achilles. So I certainly, that wasn't a surprise after we saw the play. Did you see the play?
Mm-hmm.
So even that became a contentious argument for some people who even kind of wanted to say that they were, professionals in that space in terms of rehab or movement, biomechanics. When you watch Dame Lillard, he steps back really kind of far outside of his cylinder, straight leg, full load, heel to the ground. That's not an optimal movement pattern to ever have because even if you don't tear it on those, you can get the micro tears and a wear and tear, which which you can correct. And there are people out there that I don't think believe that you can train your movement pattern and improve it, and it's very strange to me. Combo, is that strange to you?
Yeah, I mean, some injuries are unstoppable no matter what you do, right? Like,
Mhm.
but yeah, of course you could become more resilient. Yeah.
Well, it's not even like more resilient. It's probably more optimal. Like when I teach how to split and go, I force the kids that I have not to, and we've talked about this before, not to have your toes in the straight direction that you're going because if that right foot continues to get back and back behind you and you're fully loading on it and your heel's going to the ground, at 19 you're not going to blow your Achilles, right? But if you develop that pattern early and don't and aren't aware of that, and there are ways to mitigate it so it's not as much of a risk, why not do that? Like that's the weird thing. It's almost like gosh, what a terrible um, that's not a good analogy. I was going to use something like, unprotected sex. Like, what? Hey, it might happen. Oh well. And versus, why wouldn't you have protected sex? And that way you would reduce the risk. It's very similar to that in a way. But I guess maybe in today's age, people don't feel that way. I've actually heard this combo. We're going to take a completely ridiculous left turn. I've got kids and I've whatever who are grown up a little bit. And I've heard that because, let's say for HIV, for instance, because the drugs are so good now that can treat that, people aren't as afraid of getting it now. And that because of that, and that sort of becomes a thing where maybe unprotected sex becomes more. This is insane, but the bottom line is I'm recognizing this kind of mindset, and it's crazy to me that if you were involved in training athletes at any level and any version of that, you would want to put them in positions where they're not going to do things that are going to lead to injuries. Is that safe to say?
Safe is the word
Yeah,
there
be
that we want to
safe,
use. Yeah,
please.
yeah.
Practice
This this
safeness
this
across
show
all your things in your world.
this show has took a crazy turn, but yes, I
So
see what you're
anyway,
saying.
there we go. I know, Lou just joined, doesn't even know what the heck we're talking about, and we're moving on. But anyway, if you want to know, we are talking a little bit about what's happening with the Dame Lillard injury and how there was this weird pushback, not by a lot. By the way, it's not a lot of people, but it's enough where it's like strange, where they don't think that you can train your movement patterns to decrease potential injuries, and it's crazy to me, especially with that step that he has. That negative step is not bad. We like negative steps, but there are just ways to do them more optimally to reduce the risk of blowing your Achilles, blowing your calf, or any of those things. And again, Dame I'm friendly with Dame. I mean, it was just devastating to see that, and I hope that he can come back. It's going to be tough, but at any rate, let's get to the Lakers, shall we?
Yeah,
That is the
and
title. Oh, and by the way, the title, forgive me, we got to figure that out too on this new platform because it went out as a watch my live show, and I quickly changed it, but who knows what people are seeing there. Anyhow,
what do you think? I mean, you are coach Nick. What do you think about not even tightening the rotation, but no rotation in
yes.
the second
So if
half
you
of the
didn't see
Lakers?
that part, didn't they say on the screen that like it had not happened where a coach had not subbed for an entire second half of a playoff game? Like, was it 20 years, 25 years?
Yeah, the modern era they said or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I gotta tell you, I mean, part of me just feels like if you can't sub at all in the second half, then maybe you don't deserve to win, right? You're just not good enough. You don't have a good enough team to do that. They clearly ran out of gas, wouldn't you say?
yeah, definitely. And Anthony Edwards is just too good. This guy has, we all know he has elite athleticism, elite skill level, but the way he's able to read the room and read the game and adjust on the fly has gotten even better. And he's starting to look like he could be the face of the NBA.
Absolutely. This is the guy we've been talking about for. It's well, the MVP thing for us started at least 2 years ago, right? Maybe more.
Yeah, I mean, I liked him since college. I thought, I mean, obviously he was the number one pick, but there was like more skepticism about him than a lot of other number one picks.
And ridiculously so. But
Yeah,
you and I, had started talking about him
yeah,
being in the MVP race at some
right,
point sooner than later. That was
right,
certainly when Rudy was there.
yeah,
So right. I mean, when Cat was there, forgive me.
right.
So this has been, but no, it's been 3 years since we really started talking about it. And I think we were probably ahead of our skis a little bit, even talking about it then. But I think we recognized that this is the guy. Now, what did you make of him trolling LeBron down the court several times with some extra physicality?
Yeah, I mean, he's not scared of this guy, and I think nobody on this Timberwolves team is scared of Luca and LeBron. And it's really interesting because when Luca and LeBron, when the skill don't work, they could just bully you. And we're seeing that they're not able to bully like they usually do. And some of this has to do with Julius Randle, who's not afraid of all and kind of matches up with them pretty well physically. And everybody has their Julius Randle takes the ball stopper. You know, he doesn't read the court. He doesn't process the game maybe like some people would like him to. But this seems to be a bad matchup for the Lakers because he can't just bully this team.
Yeah, no, I liked how he played yesterday. He seemed to have a pretty good balance of like getting really aggressive, going to the hole, being a real threat, and then not getting him into situations where he's taking like too many bad shots.
He's been great for the last 20 games of the regular season and throughout these playoffs. So
yeah, so let's just look at his numbers real quick just to go through that. So he ended up with 25 and 7, and he shot 9 for 22 from the field. So there were some clunkers in there, but he shot well from 3 for 8 and hit all his free throws. So that was really good. But if you look at the popcorn machine, if you look at the game flow, I think what JJ was sort of counting on was by keeping his starters in there, they were like nursing this 8 or 9 or 10 point lead throughout the second half, right? But you can then see when you're looking at the graph that right around the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter, it just slowly starts, that lead just dwindles and dwindles and dwindles. And so that was predictable, of course, And here's the thing: you have guys that could be effective out there and not going to hurt you. Why would you do that? Because you're worried that the bench is going to hurt. Like, so Goodwin, yeah, you wouldn't want to put him in there. You don't want him on offense. He doesn't help you there. But like a guy like Gabe Vincent would come in there, give you some stability, let Luka rest for 3 or 4 minutes. That didn't seem to be shouldn't have been an issue, And you could have found some minutes for Gabe Vincent certainly. Who else could have gotten in there and give him something? Who was it then? Who went? Was it Vanderbilt? Was the guy, right?
Vanderbilt's the guy who didn't get minutes.
Sorry, it wasn't. It was Finney-Smith. So Vanderbilt, I get it. Offensively, you might be a little bit concerned about him being in there, but what he brings on defense as well is really important for them. So you could have given him 3 minutes for LeBron, So it was very strange. You could have given Hayes some minutes. He certainly could have gotten some minutes, grabbed some boards, maybe block a shot, So I think that was a mistake. There's another interesting mistake that no one talked about. My family took my phone. They wouldn't let me tweet during the game combo, by the way.
That's better. It's kind of better. You could be all in on the game and not be distracted by social media.
I'm in the game. I'm tweeting the game, right? But it becomes distracting. And something's turned on Twitter. I'll tell you that right now. There's it's just awful. It is as awful as it's ever been and worse. And I don't even know why I'm bothering with that. Thank you, Chip, telling us the video looks good finally. So I guess better than it has been.
Yeah, and I see we got everything going. We got the chat. I see the chat's rolling in on Riverside.
Yeah. If anybody has a super chat, let's see here. Okay, no super chats. Oh, there is one from Ven. Now, again, this new thing isn't telling me that there's a super chat. I don't think. Let me look if I can figure this out. This is new, but so this might not last that long, combo. I'm sorry that I won't be in such beautiful HD for you guys, but maybe the StreamYard people will finally figure it out. But I don't even see Crapanola. Then I'll read it if I can't figure out how to get it on the screen because I don't see it in this chat. What if that's the? Oh, here, well, I see Ven. Here we go. Is this it? Let me see here. Lakers the same problem. Man, oh man. And he's telling me it's a problem. All right, let me read it because I can see it in the back end. All right, here's what Ben asks. So, and thanks so much, Ben. Always great to see you. Laker is the same problem with Denver. They are not big enough or athletic defensively, and they don't have enough two-way players on the floor. Right. And Vanderbilt is that guy. Gabe Vincent's kind of that guy, too. Defensively, he can make plays. So it's like those are the guys you're going to keep out. It just didn't make any sense to me. But here's what they missed. And so thank you, Ben. I don't know. I'm sorry. I wish I can't get this on the screen. But here's the thing about what I'm concerned about was that down the stretch, the call they made against LeBron as on the strip that looked like it went out of bounds on Anthony Edwards, which was crucial, right? It was I think maybe the Lakers had a 1-point lead at that point, and it gave them 2 free throws and for the Timberwolves to take it back. So the Lakers took a timeout there. And it gave a lot of extra time for Finch to decide if he wanted to review it. The Lakers could have inbounded the ball very quickly, gotten the ball to half-court call timeout, and then they wouldn't have been able to review that. So I don't understand exactly why. And that with the whole thing with reviewing and deciding whether you should review or not, this is another piece to this, is that if you're going to be on the other end of it where it's potentially you're going to lose that call, then you're going to want to get the ball in really quickly. Remember we saw Jokic trying to grab the ball out of Jeff Van Gundy's hand?
Yep.
That was because they wanted to know if they wanted to challenge, and the refs are oftentimes a little bit slower too, so that they're not always easy by getting in, and they want to give you a chance. But I have a feeling if they would have kind of stripped it, Anthony Edwards was kind of complaining, but they could have been like, here, ref, give me the ball back, I'll get it in, and that's over. They can't challenge it. So that was a mistake. And then we have Finch making a mistake, or somebody make a mistake, not fouling up by 3. So here's the thing. I've seen Finch not foul up by 3 and get burned and I was throwing him, and this is in the past. I also feel like they have done it. They learned, hallelujah. And do you think, if you can picture in your mind's eye, did you think that Randall was trying to take a foul on Luka as he's bringing the ball up? And remember, Luka kind of underhand flips it to LeBron on the wing.
Yeah, I remember that. No, I don't think he was trying. I think that's just how Julius Randle's been playing defense.
Right. Okay. He just kind of, right. So maybe he was, maybe he doesn't. But here's the other key is when you're taking a foul, when you're up by 3 under 10 seconds, you don't have a guy rotate up as a double team to foul. You just foul with the guy on the ball, because if you don't get that call, what happens? It goes to LeBron. They got to rotate LeBron. He throws it to Austin Reeves, who got the most wide open shot they got all game from the corner for the tie of the game. It was insane. It was like that couldn't be played worse from a team that won. Like, it's almost like disqualifying. I'm like, you should lose that game for doing something like that. And he didn't hit it. They escaped. I wonder if they're going to go through it in the tape. I hope so. But some crazy stuff at that end of that game.
Do you think they're done?
So of course, anybody who's down 3-1 is done, right?
No, not necessarily.
Has it happened before?
Cleveland in the finals versus
Warriors.
But
that doesn't apply here, does it?
They have LeBron on both those teams.
Yeah, they have LeBron, and he did it before.
And he's playing actually really well.
Yeah, he is. He's playing really well, and defensively too. So this is the one guy, right, that we can't say they're done. They're done, but like we can't because they're done. But they can't. We can't say it, combo. But they're done.
They also have Luka Doncic, who is due for a great game.
Yeah, didn't he? Well, let's see. He was obviously much better. He recovered. Well, I guess was Luka. Did Luka and Pajemski eat at the same restaurant together the other night? Because I don't know. They both had food poisoning. Very strange. Luka was awesome though. 38 points. He was hitting step back threes like he normally does. He only had 2 assists.
I was talking about the defensive side more.
Oh yeah. It was great. Listen. Whatever he did defensively, it's a net positive when you score 38 like that. I think.
Okay, that's fair.
How many points did he give back? 20.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't just matter your man when we're talking team defense, right?
I guess, but there's ways to ascertain. Okay, that was all on him, and then count those all up, and I don't think it got to 38, but either way. But let's see here. So I think that was interesting. Now again, they also didn't attack Rudy. Now again, you can also argue, okay, Luka had 38, they did well, they had the 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, whatever, but they didn't bring Rudy out, they didn't attack him. And by the way, did you realize how many minutes he played in a win by the Wolves? How many minutes?
How many minutes?
26.
Okay. Naz Reid might be who's the better third option, Naz Reid or Austin Reeves?
That's an interesting question. I mean, they're probably similar stats in my mind. I can check it real quick. But in terms of ability, because Naz is bigger and longer, right?
And a better shooter.
Advantage to that Reeves simply just can't compete with, right?
Well, Reeves could create obviously a lot better than Naz Reid, but Naz Reid shoots it better.
All right, here's ready. Let's look at the numbers real quick. So Reeves is averaging 17 a game. He's shooting 42% from the field, 35 from 3. He's averaging 4 assists a game and 5.5 rebounds. Naz, by the way, did you hear that thing? I was listening to something where it's saying, like, if you're walking around Minneapolis, if you say Naz Reid to somebody, that's like a greeting. And like a if you know thing. Have you heard that?
That's dope, though. I like
I love it. Absolutely. I've seen like a coffee shop have something about Naz Reid. I tweeted, I'm now already forgetting what it was. Some awesome thing like on the sign on the sidewalk.
Naz Reid.
It said something about Naz Reid, was like, oh, I love it. Anyway.
It sounds like hello in or greetings in like another language, right?
Naz
Reid.
Yeah. Now, Naz Reid is averaging 13.8 points, and they're almost the same. 4 rebounds.
Well, 17 and 13 is kind of different.
Yeah. Well, and he's shooting 56% from the field and 52% from 3. So right now he's that kind of efficiency. Now let me see how many minutes he's playing because that's frustrating for me. He's getting 24.7 minutes. He should be getting 30. And then so and Rudy is averaging 26. Make Rudy 22. Give Reed those 4 minutes and maybe find another minute for him somewhere else, and then I'd be happy.
Okay. He's a great player.
Now, that said, they're up 3-1, so what do I know? Does it matter? I guess, but I don't know. But again, curtailing of the Rudy minutes is very important. It's what I've been saying. You have to try and get the best you can out of what he does and limit those times when he's going to kill you. Rudy was a – all right, I'm not going to be that. But I won't tell you what we said in private company, but he was giving us some all-time Rudy possessions in that first half. He fumbled the first part of the rebound, somehow grabbed it back, blows the layup, with an inch away, and then gets the rebound and then gets stripped on the way up. And it was like, then that's a steal. Like that, if that wasn't perfectly illustrated of Rudy on the offensive end, I don't know what is. And he did that. He was doing that often in the first half. It was crazy.
Yeah, don't you think he provides a ceiling on defense that's higher than if he wasn't playing a lot?
That he provides, what was the word?
A higher ceiling when Rudy plays more minutes, the team defense.
I guess it's the trade-off. Yes, but is it worth it when you're playing 4-on-5 on the other end? And let's face it, it's close to 4-on-5. You have a couple players at least who just won't pass it to him. And if he gets a couple of rebounds, okay, he can mitigate that. But I don't know. I just feel like that's not going to help you deeper in the playoffs for sure.
So you don't see them.
So again, is that worth it? For the defense to go 4-on-5? I don't know. I think again, if you can do those 22, 23 minutes, great. That could help. That would be the best version of it, I think.
Yeah. I think it'd be tough for either of these teams to beat like the Thunder, right? Looking at it now.
Rudy playing against the Thunder.
No, either of these teams to beat the Thunder, even though I thought Lakers might have had a chance. It doesn't look like they even have a chance at this point against Minnesota.
Right. Well, we got to talk about them playing either Houston or the Warriors anyway first, right?
Yeah, it'll probably be the Warriors, I guess, looking now. But then you never know. Jimmy's hurt. So
I know. Devastating. And you know what? It was even more devastating that the Rockets couldn't beat them without Jimmy.
Yeah.
Steph is Steph.
Warriors are the Warriors. Warriors still have Steve Kerr. They still have Steph. They still have Draymond. Draymond got in Jalen's head, talking about how he paints his nails. So they got into a. You know what? I thought.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. I thought it was him pointing at his ring, and then they told me it was he was kind of going at him for painting his nails.
I guess anything goes, right? When you're talking about playoffs and whatever. Oh, we have another super chat here. So when we took care of Jay Delgado. Let me find that. You know what? I can read it, but let me see if I can put it up here real quick. This is so suboptimal. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. They don't star them like they do on the other platform. As far as unless I'm missing something, but I don't see anything about that. And they said it. You could, but I don't. If I type in Jay. Nope. All right, I'm gonna have to read this one. I'm so sorry, but anyway, Jay Delgado 216. Thank you so much, and it was so really generous, a $10 super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it. He says the Wolves simply have to wait for LA to get tired. That creates cracks in the defense, and wide open shots become less effective. Those 3-1 comebacks need to stop. They don't have prime LeBron. So that's right. Right, and they get tired in those cracks, absolutely. And then there's no question that's what happened. They outlasted them, and listen, JJ's not going to do it again, is he?
Well, now your bench is not confident.
So, okay, do you think that Gabe Vincent's going to be affected by his confidence by that?
I think it can affect the player's confidence for sure.
Yeah, I think he's a pro. I don't think that's going to do it for him.
Well, how about Vanderbilt?
Okay, maybe Vanderbilt, maybe Hayes, maybe.
So, because you're thinking in your head, he really doesn't have enough confidence where in his mind, he thinks it's better to make no subs at all. That's kind of crazy,
It was crazy. It was so crazy. It just might work. It's a bold, move, Cotton. Let's see what happens. All those things. And if it had worked, we all would have been amazing. That's the JJ in that ESPN commercial where he's freaking out about, drawing on the board, right? That's that amazing. But it didn't. And it was, I think we could have said that because it became clear, right? I don't know if we went out at some point, maybe toward the end of the third quarter without any subs, you're like, oh, what is going on? Something is weird here, right? And then they're committing to this. And obviously it was backs to the wall. They knew they lose that game, it is over, right? I don't think they're going to be able to come back. Minnesota's got a game, a home game coming up for that that they can close out. I don't know. And then I guess it puts to rest a lot of the people who want to argue that the league is sending referees and affecting stuff to benefit LeBron and Luka.
Well, we'll see what happens in this. I think there's some people that think there's no way the Lakers will lose this next game because of that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying that's true, but I think most would think that Lakers will get this next one.
Okay. I mean, they'll be back at home.
Yeah.
By the way, Intuit Dome, Clippers home place, might be more significant of a home court advantage now than crypto ever was for them, or Staples ever was for them. I mean, I'm thinking.
You think? I mean, that's not even close, Coach Nick. Of course. Yeah.
Well, in terms of right, because it's their own place where they're always sort of second-class citizens in crypto.
Yeah, they got all kinds of things going on there, like the wall. Like it's made to have a crazier. Yeah. That might be like outside of Denver. That might be the craziest home court advantage of
exactly. And it's so loud. It's so much louder than anything else. I'm gonna. Damn, I wish you know what? I don't think I can go. Maybe I'll figure out a way and get in that building for one.
And also, All Stars there next year, so we have to go, Coach Nick.
Ooh, okay, yeah. For sure. Yeah. But yeah, I'll see if I can get in there, get a credential, something. I definitely.
Do you ever drink your son's juices?
I mean, my kids stopped drinking juice a long time ago, so no. But I don't think I would want to. I don't have sugar anymore. Combo.
This won't kill you. One little box.
But I tell you what, I also don't have. I don't drink caffeine. Haven't had caffeine for months.
So wait, you never in your life bought something for your son and had it?
Yeah, no, I'll eat the fries. I mean, that's the thing that we all do and all that stuff, But
well, I think this one juice is probably better for you than the fries, Coach Nick.
That's a good debate because there's probably 30 grams of sugar in that thing right there. So. But I will say I had caffeine for I don't know, I was doing a college feel where I had a little piece of pizza and a little drink of a Coke this morning. And I don't drink any of that anymore either. I got to tell you, it was like I took 5 Adderalls or something like that. And I'm still feeling a little bit of it. Just a little caffeine has gotten me, you probably can tell, I'm just like a little bit more energetic than I normally would be. Throwing out the hot takes. All right, well, what else do we have to talk about then? We talked a little bit about, can we get to the Pistons and Knicks? Because I'm sure there's some people out there who are upset.
Yeah, I think Pistons fans are upset at Jalen Brunson's foul baiting, that 3 at the end of the game, that the referee Guthrie came out and said he was wrong on, and Josh Hart himself even admitted there was contact.
Yeah. Well, there was contact. The only question is, does it rise to whatever that is that we have to worry about? And that's a big one. I was shocked. Part of me thought that the reason why the lead ref on the baseline didn't get it was because he was kind of stacked, so that Josh Hart, it was the shooter was directly in between him and Josh Hart, so he just couldn't see what it was. But the other 2 refs, wherever they were, that's the only game in town. You're not looking anywhere else at that point, at that moment of the game. You have to be all eyes on this shot. Doesn't matter what else is going on, scrumming under the basket. So that for no one else to see it, I guess I'm glad they came out and said that they blew it, right? I mean, that's sort of nice transparency, but it doesn't help anybody, does it?
What do you mean?
I mean, all right, so how do the Pistons Pistons fans? Doesn't make them feel any better, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but I guess
what? Some people are saying that it's diabolical because it happened at Pistons' hometown, home court.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I can't think of too many games that have ended like that where they did that. Now, the really unfortunate part of that whole sequence was that it kind of obscured a little bit one of the greatest finishes I'd seen in a game. I was watching that thing and I was yelling and jumping on my feet every possession. It was amazing. I thought Brunson was great. Cade Cunningham was great. Now, Cade blinked before Brunson blinked. Now, he's not quite there, right? Brunson has the benefit of going through tons more of these situations, right? He knows what this is like.
I mean, Brunson. I don't think anybody would argue that Brunson is he might be the best clutch scorer out of anybody. Forget about Cade. I mean, he's the best clutch scorer in basketball. Now, if we're talking about overall player, we're gonna keep debating, me and you, Coach Dick, and people don't want to hear it anymore in the YouTube comments.
I know, but we'll go. They were going back and forth. It was great. But by the way, Tim Hardaway Jr. coming through in the clutch.
Malik Beasley
happened.
Malik Beasley was coming through. Cat Cat really came through for the Knicks.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
again, you want to keep, and in your narrative about Cade, you keep trying to put down Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Tobias. Those guys are good. You know, you
They're
cannot say
not.
that he doesn't have anybody.
They're not Cat, OG, Mikal, even Josh Hart. They're not. They're not even close, actually, in terms of talent.
Oh, you could say they're kind of close. You know, there's.
Oh
They're
no.
good.
Then we.
Beasley like led
So,
the league in 3-point shooting percentage. He's
so
like
we got
he's
to.
the best shooter in the
I
game.
I like those guys, but just in terms of talent, like
Listen, Beasley is a guy every team wants on their team tomorrow. No question. He can play defense. He's tough. He can shoot the shit out of the ball.
I like
don't know
Beasley.
what would you not want from him? My goodness.
All right, he's their second best player. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's tilted in the New York Knicks' favor, but you got to stop, putting down everybody else on the team.
I'm not putting it down. I just think Jalen Brunson has the way better supporting cast.
You got to stop ripping on all the players underneath Cade. You got to stop.
You're doing a good job of debating, but at the end of the day, Jalen Brunson has the way better supporting cast, and I think we agree.
Are you rejecting my premise? Yes. Okay. They are better. The Knicks have a better talent base across the board.
And honestly, it could be 2-2 if we're seeing it the way the Pistons fans are seeing it right now, and how the referee is seeing it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, listen, Hardaway would have to still make those free throws. But
yeah. Okay. Pale made it. He didn't. Actually, we have another super chat, but Pale said, I don't think he's a super chatter, that Lakers let Beasley walk. So maybe it's Cade making Beasley better.
Okay. Maybe it's Cade making Beasley better. Interesting. Okay. All right. I mean, listen, it's one or the other. All right. This one came in at 12:40. Let me just see if I can find it here because there's timestamps. Where is it? I would love to be able to put it on the damn screen. It's not there. So super chats do not appear in this thing unless I have to pay for this, whatever. So, all right. Sorry again, super chat though. Let's read it for you. K Mike, thank you so much. I don't think K Mike to me sounds like a new part of the about the chat. So thank you so much from the Philippines. I think is what PLN is. Or Poland. I don't know. You know what? He gave us his flag. What flag has a white stripe and then a red stripe underneath it? If my son was here, he'd tell me in an instant. He knows every flag of every country in the world. But he goes, hi from, it's probably Poland, PLN, right? Thank you so much. It says, is the step through too overpowered? Oh no. What does it mean? What do you think he means when he says overpowered?
What's the step through?
I think he's probably talking about the 1 foot step through that we're talking about like on Twitter all the time. Which is legal, and everyone says it's not legal. You got to jump up both feet. You know that whole thing.
Okay. I don't
You're
know,
with
Coach.
me on that, right? You understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, I understand what we're talking about,
but is it too overpowered? I don't know what that means. Can you tell me in a regular chat, like what? Yeah, we were trying to say. So it's from Poland. Tell me, please, what that means, overpowered, because I know there's a little bit of a language thing here. Is the step through too overpowered?
Is it too
Either way, I don't know.
emphatic?
But maybe we should all be doing it. It's actually what got, in some respects, it got Jokic open for that shot he takes then to get it over to Gordon, kind of. I mean, it was more of gather step 1-2. But either way, I think that when you're pivoting and you can get off 1 foot with a little bit of a bounce step, it's such an advantage to get away from the defender that everybody should have it in their bag at every level, high school including.
You know what was kind of overlooked in all of the Denver, not to jump around too much, the Denver Aaron Gordon dunk at the end, the play before, the footwork that Jokic had on Zubac was ridiculous. Well, it was the play before. He had Zubac on the island in the mid-range, and he goes up, under, pivot, shot off one leg. And I'm like, man, there's nothing Zubac could do.
Yeah.
That's just great. That's what you call greatness. Like, no matter what.
Yeah. Top three all time.
Jokic
It's have to be a top 3 of all time eventually, right?
Jokic is a top 3 greatest player of all time.
He's going to, he'll have another 3 seasons of prime, right? Probably. And if he approaches another 30-point triple-double average for a few seasons, whatever, I don't know how else. I mean, the guy probably needs to win at least one more title. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that with what's going on, but I don't know. Yeah.
When I watched him play in Paris versus the Australian national team, My thought was I'd never seen a basketball player better than this guy.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can't play better than that. The way he plays, almost generally, he doesn't make mistakes. He everything they need him to do, he does. The no look passes, the things he can manipulate defenders with his eyes. It's like he's a mix of Bird and Kareem. I don't know who else.
LeBron?
He's not a mix of LeBron. But anyway,
Well, he initiates offense like LeBron.
yeah, right. So he's got top 3, top 5, top.
Oh, he's definitely a mix of Sabonis in there somewhere.
Sabonis, the father or the son?
Father.
Yeah, right. So absolutely. So anyway, but someone's trying to say that overpowering is a gamer slang, or maybe I don't know if that's right, Ronald. We have to figure out. We have to figure that out. And then Pale wants to say it's a travel in most leagues, and it's not really. It's an anecdotal thing where you've seen it once called, and it's a wrong call. Like that. We have to make that clear. So, but in a lot of people's minds, even if it's a wrong call, because they think that they're going to call it every time, then it is ipso ergo QED, it's traveling, right? Like it doesn't matter because the referees will screw up every time. And we can continue to show evidence even into the 80s and the 90s where the refs were not calling it and they understood it was legal. But, I get it. You saw it once and you're like, oh, then it clearly is not legal, but it is. And so if it's worth showing the referee before a game and just sort of making sure they know, yeah, great, that'll help.
Pale says you have to be a two-way to be top 10, but I would argue that Magic and Bird weren't the greatest defenders, right? And they're clearly top 10.
But and here's the thing, I've shown this, and this is why it's so galling for people to think that I'm some sort of Denver Nuggets hater or Jokic hater, because I'm the biggest hype man for those guys, and I have been for all these years. Now I did a video where I had to show that he was flopping and doing ridiculous, antics on the court to try and draw fouls. It was ridiculous, and guess what? He stopped doing it. And I don't know if he heard me, but he must have looked at the tape or something. That's beneath him. He's too good to be doing all of that. And I get it. I'm not necessarily a highlight channel, so I'm not just going to be showing highlights every time. I might have to point out something that your favorite player didn't do well, but if I didn't, then that would be biased. So I'm used to it. I get it. But like the Jokic stuff in particular is insane. And I've had people think that I hate Luka, and like I'm the first guy or one of the first guys on YouTube to explain how good this guy was.
Well, I'm sure there's players that you've talked about that some people say you're a Luka hater, or even whatever, player A hater or player B, you love him too much, right? And it'll be the same player, and you'll get accused of both.
Right. Oh yeah. I love it. I fall off my chair laughing when people accuse me of being a LeBron stan, and that happens. It happens, and I'm like, okay, great, thanks. But again, I think it proves that I'm doing my job correctly when this happens, because it lets me know that yes, I'm doing the sort of fair and balanced thing.
Unbiased.
Real fans, some of those real fans. Oh, and by the way, I'll tweet something that I point out maybe somebody did wrong on something, and then the next quarter I'll say this is amazing. Look how they did this, and that doesn't compute either. Like you can't do both. You can't be able to do that. I'm like, yes, I can, because I'm unbiased. But at any rate, that's part of the conversation. That's why I enjoy doing this. It's why I think people enjoy coming back and watching stuff. But again, there is the tone has turned. The country has changed a little bit. Something's going on here, and it's not as productive and as it used to be, and it's a problem. I hope we can, even me asking people to try and be better was responded to with all sorts of vitriol, even worse, because I said, hey, let's just all try and communicate with each other nicely. That was whatever me saying that was triggering. It's crazy. I don't know. Anyhow, Combo, what else? Should I get on the couch? I feel like I need to lie down. I can talk more with you.
Why?
About these issues that I'm having in my life.
You all right, man?
I am, but part of me feels like I'm getting into some sort of existential crisis here about the country and about our communication methods and about where we're going and the group mindset of everything. It does feel, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel that way to you? I know you don't pay attention to anything in politics, do you?
I don't pay much attention to politics.
That's really smart.
Is that sarcasm or is that?
No.
Okay.
No, I wish I could do that. I obviously have this political podcast that I do.
Well, you don't have to do a political podcast if you.
I know, but it's that one's kind of popular too, and we have a community.
When you're, you talk about that being popular, but when you're a skilled communicator such as yourself, you could just stop a political podcast and start a podcast about something else, and it'll be fine. Movies. Because it's the skill of communicating. It's not really the topics at hand.
Yeah, I know, but imagine doing that, building it for years, and then like having to start over. You know,
Some
I
of the
can see all the gray hairs I
some
have
of
in
the
my face.
greatest entrepreneurs ever have just stopped things, and they could build it right back up.
All right, yeah, okay. Well, at any rate, I think I think the other key
I
would
could
be,
say something that would really rile you up right here, but I won't do it.
uh, yeah. I mean, unless you want it for the clicks, man, because we're in it for the clicks, combo. That's all I'm doing this for, right? I mean, I get so many clicks as it is. I can't keep up with it. I don't need any more, honestly.
Oh man, yeah, I won't do it. I won't do
All
it.
right. But I could use some more clicks on some of the videos I'm doing on some of these teams, and that's what I think that's interesting about the way we can talk about. Where, I was worried I was doing too many videos in a row, and then they'll step on each other on YouTube in the
Have
timeline.
I noticed? I don't know if you know. I noticed this is short form that the evergreen content right now is seeming to do better than the game by game reaction.
Well, I'm only doing the game by game stuff really because it's the playoffs, so it's a little unclear to me. And that's sure for sure. Evergreen always does better than the quick reaction stuff.
No,
But
I don't agree with that either. If something's really in the loop or in the zeitgeist or viral at the moment, then that could be really good too. If
oh, I
it's
mean,
yeah,
yes, that is true
yeah,
too. You really nail that, and that's why the playoff stuff when I'm doing it is I'll get the same views as I do on the evergreen too. So you're right.
okay,
It's
okay.
all I think for me, what I discovered is that there's teams that people don't want to watch videos on. That's
What are the major ones? Celtics, right?
Celtics aren't great, believe it or not. It's Lakers and the Warriors, not even Bucks.
No, not the Bucks, and not even for you, not the Knicks, right?
I've struggled. It's been up and down. Knicks have been up and down, not consistently great, but it's pretty good. And I'm sure if they get to the next round, like it'll help because it gets a little bit more focus on the teams. But yeah, I mean, I want to do the Knicks. I got to figure out what I'm gonna do next. What should I do next? Is the next which series? I haven't focused on
Anthony
everybody.
Edwards, that'll do good, right?
Yeah, well, I think I've already done. Let me see
Too
here.
many.
I've already done one
Too many Edwards.
on that series. Yeah, I did Luka targets Gobert. Remember that one was a big one. And again, we can go back to that Lakers game. Is everyone wanted to use these kind of the stats weren't contextual enough with just straight field goals, and they were saying, well, it's not worth doing. And I wonder maybe JJ looked at it that way too and said it's not worth doing. But also in the fog of war, as a coach, when you're on the bench and the game gets going and it's all fast and it's craziness, you could get to the end of the third quarter and then realize, wait a minute, we didn't do the thing we were game planning for. Like, what's happening? And you got all these coaches with you on the sideline, and none of them speak up, and they're all riled up and caught in the moment. And then you realize, you didn't do the whole thing that you were focused on. Is it because players also don't have the same kind of focus? Interesting, right? The game is less physical, less intensity. Well, the intensity is there now, but there might be something to that, like the focus. And I think there might even be a notion that NBA coaches of a certain era would even observe this, that like the players just don't have the same focus like they used to. Phones and all that stuff. Sleep patterns are different. I had an idea. Ready for this combo?
Yeah.
So I saw this study. They brought in a sleep. Sorry, damn, I just ruined it. They brought in a sports. Oh, we have some more super chats. I'll get to in a second. They brought in a sports psychologist for a college team, and she like very quickly increased their 3-point percentage. And I'm like, wait, what did the sports psychologist do? This is gonna be great. And it had nothing to do with the actual anything on court. Do you know what it was?
Well, you said sleep, so I know, but I think there's something else you could do. Actually, you could practice shooting in your brain without actually shooting, which I probably haven't tried enough of.
Yeah, that too. But they literally just increased their sleep and they shot better. So that's fascinating. How about this? They should do a control with a group of players over a little bit of time, 3-4 weeks, and doing the same shooting stuff. But one is on their phones a lot, and the others are not on their phones at all.
That's a good one.
I would really like to see that study.
Well, basically, if you think screen time is linked to poor mental health, then that's kind of evil, right? To make somebody go on their phone.
Oh, well, just find someone who's already on their phone anyway. How about that?
Okay. Okay.
I mean, who's not on their phone, right? But you're right. You'd have to, I mean, or maybe they'd be willing, but you're right. You might take someone who's not on their phone hardly at all, and then for this experiment.
I am on my phone, obviously, for what we do, but I put like protocols in, like first hour, I don't touch it. So I think there's probably people like me out there, right, that try and like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
I
battle.
want to see extremes. I want to see like.
I think if you don't realize it's a battle, then you're probably behind the curve.
Right. All right. Let's
Yeah.
get some super chats as we get a little bit toward the end of the show because we're getting long in the tooth here. So Stinky Dipey has a tweet, a comment. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Really generous of you. They say, where do you rank Brunson offensively in the NBA?
I mean, Luka's better. SGA is better. LeBron is probably better. Jokic is better.
So 5.
Cade Cunningham.
Oh, come on now. No, you can't.
Kawhi Leonard right now.
What?
Kawhi Leonard.
Why are you so quiet all of a sudden? We can't hear you.
Oh,
There we go. I mean,
Kawhi Leonard.
Just don't get in front of the mic. Kawhi Leonard, better scorer than Brunson. You know, it's interesting.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, you sound fine. It's just when you get in front of the mic a little bit, we think it gets really.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, James Harden.
Interesting.
Because of the playmaking.
So top 10.
Yeah, offense has to do with playmaking. Jalen Brunson is not. Look, we saw that Mikal, and I'm probably nitpicking a little bit here, but OG and Mikal did not play as good once Jalen Brunson came back from his injury. They were playing at their best.
Okay. But this is the guy who has to have the ball in his hands and controlling.
He has to,
yeah.
yes, because of the higher ceiling with him having the ball for sure.
But that skip pass he threw to Cat for that 3 on the right wing down the stretch, that's passing. That's vision.
He's not. Yeah, he's not a terrible passer.
So he can.
He's not Trae Young passer.
But very few guys are. Trae Young is in a class of.
Oh, so now very few guys are. But when I say Cade's a good passer, you go right to LeBron in the comparisons.
Well, I don't think Cade is in the Trae Young category of passer.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not. He's not Luka. He's not Trae Young. He's not.
But that's what I'm saying. When I did it, it's not fair. But when you do it, you use it for your argument. You know.
I don't understand.
I don't have to re-say what I just said. Come on, Coach Nick.
Okay, but I don't understand what you said. Oh well.
All right. When I did what basically you did when you were saying that I said Cade's a great passer and you kind of just went to LeBron. I did it and in the opposite way. You see what I'm saying? I don't even know anymore, man. Let's just go on.
I went to LeBron. Okay. I thought we discussed anyway. We discussed Cade's passing. You said something. I went back and forth. I didn't go to LeBron. Did I?
Oh, you went to somebody else who's a really good passer, Coach Nick, or something like that.
Oh, all right. Well, how about this? We'll just say the Trae Young, Luka, Jokic, like that's pretty much a little small club. But that's like special at the top of the heap.
James Harden's in there. He's a great passer. Ooh. James Harden's a great passer too.
Okay, we'll put him in there. Yeah. And but I again, Cade's not in that group.
Yeah, he's right there.
Anyway.
He averaged 9 assists this year. I know that's not the only stat that is. I know it's not everything when it comes to passing, but it's a good stat.
All right, let's get to. So anyway, we rank him, I'm going to rank him top. I'll put him like 7 or 8, I suppose. You're going to put him in maybe. Does he get to the top 10 for you?
Who's that?
Brunson.
Yeah, he's top 10. Score just straight offense. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got Braun. Thank you so much, Braun. Always great to see you. Best friend of the breakdown, Braun in Canada. They say, if you were Steve Kerr, would you play Kuminga? Braun, why, do you really want to get me in trouble? He wants to get me in trouble. I don't want to weigh in on this one. What do you think, Combo?
I think that Kuminga's style of play does not fit with the Warriors' read and react style of basketball, but I think he would be better suited somewhere else, maybe a team like the Nets.
I agree with half of your statement. You can decide which half I agree with.
No, just go ahead and let us know. Just go ahead.
Listen, I think looking at how they played with him out there, looking at the numbers down the stretch, it wasn't necessarily a hard decision to say, we're better if he's not playing. Now, he's gotten the shot, and I think we've seen some interesting evidence as well that probably would continue to back up that notion. The only question now you have is what would happen in other teams and other roles. That's an interesting thing that's up for debate, and I don't know.
I think it'd be better. I think it's just I think he's not a guy who's you want to play read and react basketball with, and that's what the Warriors do more than anybody else probably.
Yeah, okay. That is true. That is very true. And then, I'll leave it at that.
And Jimmy, Steph, Draymond, guys like that are perfect for it.
Right. And, from a coach's perspective, which is there's a very focused lens. It's like, that it doesn't work, doesn't fit, and And I'd be worried. I would like him to work on some very specific things over the summer to really improve, so that he could have that impact wherever he plays. Okay, Alan Tran, thank you so much, Alan. Another best friend of the breakdown. Always great to see you. And again, massive apologies for not being able to get these damn things on the screen. I don't know. I guess I can reach out to them. I'll figure it out. But I think there should be a new rule on undercutting airborne opponents. Example: Jalen Wells during the regular season, Jimmy Butler, and John Morant. Yeah. Did we talk? We didn't talk about the John Morant, or did we? I can't remember.
We haven't talked much about Ja, actually.
Or did Jimmy Butler play? You know, kind of.
We haven't talked about Ja a lot in general. Their season's over. Yeah.
Now that was weird to me because even though he went forward, right, and it looked like he kind of was able to brace himself. So what I was worried about was like wrist injury, arm. He landed, you know, like kind of on the stomach area, right? But then the injury is to the hip. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it just didn't look like Jimmy, you know, was violent, and like that was like the whole arena went hush. The Ja one, I don't know, for whatever reason, I guess because of the arms and he was going forward and he could see it all in front of him.
Did you hear that Ja said he had it figured out?
What?
Ja said he had them figured out after he got.
That's probably not true either, right? They weren't winning. You know, listen, that's tough. You got rid of the coach, the whole thing. It's like turmoil. That's not a good recipe.
Well, Denver. Oh, the internet is saying Jokic is now the coach of the Denver Nuggets.
You know what? I don't listen. That guy Tomas is in a really tough situation, and he didn't sign up for that. And I don't know. Yeah, so he probably would be smart to let Jokic help him out. You know, and let him. But he got. I think they're all referring to him getting so.
No. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Tomas? That's Adelman. That's the coach of the.
Oh my God! I'm thinking. Yeah, right. I'm sorry. Tomas is in Memphis. Sorry, Adelman. Right, and Adelman has experience, and he's been in that situation a little bit.
So his father was the coach of the Portland Trailblazers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, equally difficult situation, right? No-win situation. It's not really what you're going to be able to do there. So that's tough. And we saw Jokic freak out in the huddle, and I was trying to figure out exactly who he was mad at. Was it clear to you? Did you see that?
I did see it, but yeah, I wasn't sure who he was mad at either.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe he was like slamming on the clipboard. So like,
you know what I like about Jokic? He's gonna get mad at you about basketball strategy, but he don't really get mad when you make or miss a shot. That's what I like about Jokic.
Well, we don't know exactly if that's the case.
Well, he doesn't show it, right? Because his teams mess up a lot of his assists. I see it. Like,
yeah. Oh, and by the way, was there a coincidence that? All right, I'll do this. Even though they lost, they controlled that game and played. They had stretches where they played as well as they played all series long in that game. And
they didn't lose. They won.
The Nuggets?
Yeah, they won. Aaron Gordon.
Oh, you're right. Forgive me. They won. They controlled the game, and I know it got tight at the very end. But like,
so you're just. I know you're just going into your Russ soliloquy. So you're just all over the place. You're too excited. Too much caffeine. Too much caffeine.
It is. It's the caffeine. So I thought caffeine's supposed to make you think clearer and whatever, man. But the point being that they really had stretches where they played the best I think that they played, and Russ was not in the game. You know, it was just much more organized and controlled and not chaotic, and I think that's important for them.
Okay.
You know, I'm just saying. Now we know the final play, Russ would not have had the ball. It wouldn't have been the thing. It wouldn't. You know, we probably got the same result. It's not that doesn't happen.
Well, Russ looked really happy his team won, so he's.
Yeah. Now and then and the other thing, by the way, I was thinking about the cameras. You know, they used the overhead camera was the only one that you could see definitively that his finger was off the ball. But if the frame rate of that camera was too low, then it's conceivable that there was a frame that we just don't have because the camera wasn't spinning fast enough.
Oh, I remember what Jokic was mad about, by the way. So he got fouled in a certain way, and they didn't call it. And then he got fouled in the exact same way by Zubac. Exact same baseline. Nothing's ever exact, right? But like no two sunsets are the same, not to get too philosophical. But it was in the same baseline, same type of foul. And then he got really mad at the ref because he was like, that's the same foul.
You mean the one where he clamped him and they called it on Jokic? Well, right. Well, I mean, they called it on Jokic 2 games ago. No,
it was in the same game.
Oh, same game? Because I remember that I used that in my video where he clamped him and he got the call. No. they called it an offensive foul on him on that one too. Like they got it, I believe. And so it was like he should have known, like they're going to call that one, Now the argument was that there was a big push on the catch, which made Jokic like fold forward a lot. Which again is he flopping? Is he not? He was flopping so much that maybe we're thinking he's flopping even though he's not. So that's another reason why you don't want to flop, because they might think you're crying wolf and not give you that call at some point. You can argue that Steph doesn't get some of those calls as well, because there are times when he flails on the 3-point shots, and the referees, for whatever reason, will say, "Well, he's flailing, then maybe he's still flailing on that one." Because there was a one. Do you see that? They were sharing it with Dylan Brooks. I mean, it was like bumper cars out there on his shot in the air, and like not even a hint of a whistle. There's something going on there. I cannot wrap my head around why Steph doesn't just consistently get that whistle. It's crazy. All right, we got some more super chats. Let's get to those real quick. DTG, thank you so much. Down to something. I don't know what the G is, but we'll accept that it's be on the show. Thank you so much for being part of the show and super chat. I really appreciate it. Coach Nick, I am with you. We're creeping toward authoritarianism. I listened to both the Breakdown and Muckrake podcast. Wow. Well, thank you so much for being part of that conversation as well. It's a great community. And if you're looking for a very progressive podcast that will break down, the political situation, and by the way, we call balls and strikes on both sides, but we do a lot of sort of historical context as well for that. And so we're able to tie in things like what Nixon was doing, what Reagan was doing, and even FDR and before, and even in the Civil War, to kind of understand a little bit better why we're here. And it kind of reminds me of just like when as a coach, I would study the history of basketball. And I have, look, I have these books. Like here's one of my favorite books. This is from 1920 something. This is Doc Meanwell from the University of Wisconsin. And, you can learn a lot about plays, but how they did it back then. And it informs you now. And so I think it's a similar situation towards, the political thing. When you have a sort of a better sense of the history where we come from, it'll just give you a better insight into what's going on now. So awesome. I mean, thank you so much for that super chat and being part of that. It's really cool to have people do both. Euro Thunder, thank you so much. From Europe, we're getting Euros combo. Euros are coming our way. Thank you so much. Please don't be mad at us, Europe. We're with you. A lot of people in America are still with you. Doesn't James Harden have a low assist to turnover ratio? Meaning, doesn't he turn the ball over a lot? Well, let's look at that. I think he means in this playoff series, right? So if we look at that real quick, let's see. Let's go to the Clippers. Let's go to their series stats. So James Harden is averaging. Oh, great! They don't have turnovers per game, but he's averaging 9.5 assists, and in the 4 games he's committed 11 turnovers, which is like what? That's a little less than 3. So that's pretty robust. That's really good. So I don't know if he means low or high in a good way or bad way, but that's 2-to-1, whatever. That's a really good ratio.
He has high usage, so yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but be careful. I can't hear you when you're over there by the.
He has high usage. James Harden. He is the system.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, him and Kawhi are playing as well as any duo in the playoffs.
I got a hot take for you. James Harden will win Finals MVP versus the Cleveland Cavaliers.
No, that's not what I want. There you go. Did you hear that?
Yep.
Okay, you didn't react, so I couldn't tell if you could hear.
I could hear it.
All right, that's your hot take sign. All right. Well, he'll win the MVP of what?
He'll win the Finals MVP versus the Cleveland Cavaliers.
James Harden.
Yep.
So you think the Clippers can get to the finals? You think that the Cavaliers are going to beat the Celtics? I'm kind of with you on that, although that's a hot take, I suppose.
And I don't think Darius and Donovan could guard James Harden.
Right. But then he's got to deal with Mobley and Allen.
I think he shoots right over them. And he knows when to get to the rim because Evan Mobley got to do the dance because of the rules.
Okay.
The NBA rules.
I mean, if that's what you're selling, I might browse a little bit in the store.
Okay.
And
then that totally changes James Harden's legacy, even though it's great already.
Wow, now you're talking, and that's not a hot take. Like that would James Harden's legacy completely changed.
Well, first of all, just him making it to the finals is a boost already, right? And then him winning Finals MVP.
Yeah, right. Because then he's got to deal with Kawhi. They're going to be competing for that one.
Evan Mobley's guarded Kawhi Leonard, I think.
Evan Mobley's going to guard Kawhi Leonard. Yeah.
That's who, well, Ven's asking me who's guarding Kawhi. That's why
Gosh, I would like to see that because Evan Mobley,
DeAndre
I
Hunter?
would like to see on the brightest of stages, display his wares once and for all, and just prove it that he is this guy. He is Defensive Player of the Year. I want him to prove it, and that would be he'd have to do that. That would be amazing.
Yeah, DeAndre Hunter will probably have some rips against.
Yeah, they would need everything. It's a team game. They're gonna have to deal with him on a lot of different levels. Okay. Well, I guess what I got to get ready to get for my my political podcast. But if you want to watch there, listen to that. It's called the Muck Rake Podcast, and I would put it in. I guess I can put it in here.
I tuned in once for a few minutes.
Yeah, thank you. A lot of people listen. A lot of people do that, which is great, and it grows and grows every week.
Rodney says, "I don't know, Combo. Did Chris Paul get a legacy boost with the Suns? James Harden is an all-star this year, so that's way different."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll see.
And then also Chris Paul didn't.
Giannis got it. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Like, what if Giannis hadn't won a title?
We would look at him differently, but he's actually having a better individual year this year than the year he won a title.
Yeah, it's tough. There's some extenuating circumstances like the coach, and then Dame going down, and Dame also sort of being up and down. It's a weird year. It's really just too bad. I don't know. I wonder if coming back, everyone marveled at him being able to come back from a deep vein thrombosis that quickly. Like no one had ever done that before. It's not related to Achilles tears. But did he not ramp up well enough and whatever? I don't know. I'm not quite sold on that, but we'll see. We'll see how he responds and rehabs. That's the other nice thing about, we've seen guys who come back from these things and be really good.
Yep.
Even at that age, right? Like Kevin Durant did it.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think, wait, let me make sure there's any more super chats. Yes, there is one. So, K-Mike, thank you so much for being back here. Again, for another one. Clippers breaking the curse and winning it all. Well, there's your thing here because you're thinking that James Harden's going to be the MVP of the finals, which means they win. I don't know. I mean, listen, the Clippers controlled a lot of that game. Wait a minute. You know what? That's my whole weird thing. The Denver Nuggets did play really well. Let me check. Now I'm losing my mind. But didn't the Clippers have control and the Denver Nuggets kind of came back? Or was it the other way around?
There's a lot going on right now, Coach.
I know. It's too much to handle, and the caffeine is wearing off. I'll tell you right now. It was – okay. Yeah, no, the Clippers controlled the game. They had a nice big lead at the end of the fourth. Now I remember, and now I'm locked in. I'm locked in, Combo, at the end of the show. And then it was a slow, inexorable, decline of that lead all the way until the Clippers got the lead right at the end, and then bam, they got the bucket. So to win the game after on the tie game. So we saw some of the best stable play by the Nuggets that whole game until the very end, and then they pulled it out. But what was the question? So the question was, are the Clippers going to break it? Because again. It would have been like the Clippers would have stolen that game, and then they would have had a really a lead that would have ended the series. So I still feel like the Clippers will take this one. So that's part of it. Now there's the curse, right? The curse is the curse. Does the curse get broken if they get to the conference finals? Did they never made it to the conference finals, right? With the Chris Paul and Blake Griffin.
Yeah, they did, right? DeAndre, they lost to Golden State, right? Or no?
Remember they blew it against the Rockets and they had it, and that was I think the second round. So I think that was their best chance. I don't think the Clippers did. Somebody tell me in the comments. I don't think they ever got to the conference finals. So they'd have to at least get there to sort of break that curse. And with the bracket the way it is, let me just remind myself of that. The bracket is let's see, they're gonna have to play if they get past the Nuggets, which I feel like they can. Oh, they're gonna have to play the Thunder. Can they beat the Thunder?
Yeah, I think they can.
They have pieces. They can. Now it's Daignault versus Lou. That's interesting. I would say Lou has the advantage there, which might be that could be the thing. But they don't have the home court advantage, and that's going to hurt. So, man, this is okay. This is the Thunder's real test. We get to find out whether the Thunder are legit next.
Well,
round.
Vegas has the Thunder winning, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously you have to. The Thunder are going to be favored on every series.
Okay.
So I can guarantee you that the Vegas will.
I can guarantee it. All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, great show. Thanks everybody for being part of this. I'm glad that could be a little better quality, but man, we got to figure out how to get these super chats on the screen. But either way, thank you guys for doing that. Really, really appreciate all of this, and we'll be back again. We'll definitely. I'm going to sneak in at least a live show after one of these games this week. So hang out, keep your notifications on, and we'll make it happen. How do I end this thing? There's the button. And don't forget, sports fans, that B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You win. Are you in, Combo?
Yes, sir.